Back to the visually impaired gaming stream. I'm your host, Boy Ninja 1704, otherwise known as Fraser. And tonight we'll just sort of be playing Fortnite for until 9 o'clock and talking about accessibility in general, especially with the new sort of Apple products and that has been released. I'll be sort of sharing my views on that on them too. Um, but to start off with, I'm Boy Ninja 1704, otherwise known as Fraser, and I'm the chairman of a charity called Triple Tap Tech. And what Triple Tap Tech does is advises, helps, supports, and trains people with visual impairment in accessing all forms of technology. So that can be anything from listening to audiobooks using a USB player or a Bluetooth device to accessing the latest and greatest smartphones, tablets, computers, MacBooks. We basically provide training in everything to do with technology and visual impairment. We also sort of provide training on bespoke devices that have been specifically designed for people with a visual impairment. So that can be smartphones that have been designed for visual impairment, braille displays, and a whole host of sort of other technology. We sort of run online services that people can join in, and all the information that can be found on the Triple Tap Tech website at tripletaptech.org. They're sort of a fantastic resource where you can access information about the accessibility that's built into specific devices for visual impairment, such as iPhones, Android phones, Synaptic phones, and all that too. And you can also get sort of product reviews and that we've done. All the reviews that we do on our website, as we're sort of a total independent charity, are of our sort of own opinions of them. So we're not sort of paid to promote any particular product or manufacturer. So when it comes to part of what we do when it comes to sort of providing training with technology is providing sort of help and advice when it comes to accessible gaming and or more specifically visually impaired gaming. And visual impaired gaming, as well known, came on sort of leaps and bounds over the past sort of 2 to 3 years. The first that I really noticed on it was going back when I first started getting back into sort of computers, and that was playing Mortal Kombat with the sort of accessible cues and that was built into it. But now again, a lot of games have sort of audio cues built into it and ways that we can sort of adjust the screen and adjust the visuals of the game to make them more easy and more importantly more comfortable to play when you have visual impairment. To sort of help get the information and that out there, it would be really great if you could go out and sort of like, subscribe, support, share, follow, and all that jazz to this channel on both Twitch, but also over on our YouTube channel as well. So to get to that, all you need to do is search for Blind Ninja 1704 on YouTube, and on that channel we've got our visual impaired gaming streams there, the previous ones that we've done, but we've also got a range of how to and accessible videos and how to make games accessible from a visual impaired viewpoint. So Um, one of the sort of last things to sort of go over is on our website to tripletaptech.org. We've designed a sort of a really good resource for when it comes to visual impaired gaming, and I'll sort of go over that later on in the stream. But tonight, I say it's just going to be a general chat about sort of accessibility in gaming and sort of in products in general. We'll be on until 9 o'clock tonight. And any questions of that, feel free to sort of ask me in the chat, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. However, out with the game and the Twitch stream tonight, if you want to get in contact with us, you can always send an email to tripletaptech@outlook.com or just contact us through our webpage. So, shall we begin? So tonight I'm just sort of going to mess around playing Fortnite for a wee bit, try and get the tier level and that up. One of the reasons why I sort of enjoy playing Fortnite, especially being visually impaired, is of the cartoon graphics and that. So it makes it a wee bit easier for me to see, because it's nice, bright and bold colours that are on it, instead of as much with sort of the Call of Duty games and that, where it's quite dark and sort of danky, depressing, all the D's basically. So this one's sort of bright, bouncy, and we say very good. So the game setup that I'm using now is I'm playing this on an Xbox Series X. No, sorry, I'm not. I'm telling a lie there. I'm playing this on Xbox One X. I'm still sort of hoping and doing everything I can at the moment to get a Series X, but that's just one thing that's not going to be happening anytime soon. I have got a Series S, but I decided tonight to sort of do streaming on the old Xbox One X. So I'm playing it on the Xbox One X 1080p resolution, connected to a 65-inch HD TV. I'm sitting probably about 3 or 4 foot away from the TV. In fact, probably a lot closer than that, to be honest with you. I'm probably sitting about 2 foot away from the TV. And I've got it connected to a set of gaming headphones. So one thing when it comes to playing these games is the audio and that goes on around about them to try and build up what's happening in the games and that. So having a decent set of gaming headphones is something that I would thoroughly recommend. Let's go and see what sort of trouble we can get into the now. So what I tend to do when sort of playing Fortnite is I have sort of wee routes and that I do through the map, where I know I can get hold of sort of good weapons and stuff. And that just again there puts me in a good position to sort of play the game. Good night. First kill of the evening, thank you very much. So I'll say about the sort of the characters not going Fortnite, I've just got it set up for random characters. So every game it'll be a sort of a new main character, a new character that we'll be playing with there. What I would say is, that's a nice chicken. Okay, I heard somebody firing there. Let's try and see if we can figure out where they are. I think it's coming from up there, so that's fine now. In fact, I'm just going to go and get them now. So yeah, I would say one of the things that I done when I first started sort of playing Fortnite, it's a good idea for sort of games where you can choose your sort of initial characters and that from, is to choose ones that sort of stand out pretty well on the screen for you. So when I first started playing Fortnite, it's going back maybe over just about a year and a half ago now, maybe longer. I can't sort of exactly remember. Sort of the past year, and that's all times just sort of turned into a strange and winding entity for us all, I think. But at that time, it was when the latest Star Wars film was sort of released. So the card cards that I can see pretty well is the sort of red and black. The two of the cards stand out really good for me. So what I done when I first started playing Fortnite is I got the Kylo Ren skin and used that to make the sort of the main character stand out and a wee bit easier to try and see what was going on the screen. There's a lot of stuff, if you, especially if you're a low vision gamer, you can do to try and make games like this a wee bit more sort of accessible for you. Lots of chickens here. So yeah, Fortnite's got quite a lot of accessibility options built into it that you can sort of mess about with, play about with, to make the game that wee bit more easier for you to see. So to do that, you just go into the settings when you're in the game lobby. Right, cool. So somebody's up here, I think. The massive health bars have just gave it away. Be careful what I'm doing here. There's usually a guardian up here. Right, and there's somebody else about here, so let's go and see if we can find them. This is where this sound comes in. Good night. So I had to sort of concentrate on that one there. Thought I was going to go south for a bit. So yeah, there's a whole sort of range of stuff that we can sort of change in the settings to make Fortnite a little bit more accessible. one of the ones that is sort of really handy is sort of just making the HUD display sort of larger. So I've got this set at, I think it's about 100% now, but you can increase the size of it in order to make it more easy to see your sort of health and ammo and sort of weapons and stuff on it. Another thing, it's got a few sort of colorblind modes on it. It's got big fancy terms on them that I don't really understand, to be honest with you. However, what I always suggest is play about with these settings and see what color scheme sort of stands out to you. And the other way that I've sort of make this game more accessible myself, you won't actually be able to see it. So you're going through the live stream that I'm doing now, so this will probably be coming through in colours that's streamed directly from the console. But on the TV that I'm using, I've sort of adjusted the brightness. You can adjust the brightness and sort of individual games and that too, but I've adjusted it on my TV set. And I also play the game with reduced color palette on it, so basically play it in what's known as a grayscale mode, so it takes all the colour out of it. And for me, in sort of my eye condition, which is diabetic retinopathy, it really makes the game that just a little bit easier and more comfortable to play. And one of the things that I quite like playing is sort of the retro gaming. So sort of going back to gaming from the sort of the 80s and 90s and the early Uzis, shall we call them. And to play sort of quite a lot of the games on sort of an RV computer system called a Raspberry Pi. So I currently play them on a Raspberry Pi 400, which is basically sort of a wee microcomputer that you can sort of program and all that. It runs Linux on it, so it's sort of a really good system where you can change quite a lot of the stuff that you can do on it. Yeah. So yeah, so I've sort of played a lot of retro games and that, and using the option to take out sort of the colour on the games and play them in grayscale is sort of a really great benefit to me. And again, that makes playing these the sort of the retro games and that, where they've not got so many sort of accessible options built into them as such, but you can sort of make them accessible, especially as I say for low vision gaming. When it comes to sort of non-vision gaming, then it's a little bit more sort of restrictive in what you can do. But there is plenty of I hear gunshots, but there is sort of plenty of options out there to. Where's that coming from? But yeah, but there's sort of plenty of options out there that you can use. One of the things that I'm always doing is looking at ways in which we can sort of make games and that more accessible. I'll sort of discuss a few of the options later on in the stream. Right now I'm just trying to figure out where the gunshots were coming from. Don't let me down, headphones. Yeah, they probably will, to be fair. Good night. At this point, my nose is practically touching the screen now to try and see where they're coming from. This is actually turning into a really good game. I don't usually do this well in my 31st games. Usually need to warm up a wee bit, but no, getting there. Right. So this is what's going to get a wee bit more tricky now. That was close. So I'm just sort of hoping to find. I would have liked to get sort of high ground at this bit, but that's not going to happen. Okay. So this is where it gets serious now. There's only two other players. And that's a bit where I generally was, to be honest. Ah, so something's going on over there. Yes! First game and a victory. Ah, that's impressive. So that just sort of goes to prove that I've been sort of visually impaired and that you can sort of still participate and even win sort of these battle royale games. That was good. It won't happen again tonight, but I'm quite happy we've got that victory to start off with. Yeah, so what I was saying is, earlier on at the start of the stream there, is that we've developed an sort of visual impaired accessible gaming section on our website, and there you can go to find out all about the different accessibility options that are built into different consoles, such as the Xbox range of consoles, the PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, the gaming PCs, and even sort of VR headsets such as the Oculus Quest and PlayStation VR. So we've got a sort of really good accessibility guides there explaining exactly what you can sort of do. So with screen enhancements, with screen readers and such. On our website too, we've also got quite a lot of accessible game reviews on it. And again, during the game reviews and that, we discuss ways in which we've made the game accessible for low and no vision players. So we've got the views on there for such as this one, Fortnite, but also for sort of The Last of Us Part 2 and a range of sort of other games. And the good thing about the accessible gaming section of our website is it's not just for sort of console and for sort of hardcore games and that. It's also for sort of games that you can play on your iPhone, on your smartphones, tablets, and sort of smart speakers too. And we've got sort of reviews that cover a wide range of different games there. One of the things that we sort of love used to do, especially as the VI gaming community, would be to sort of do reviews and that we would quite happily publish on our website too. So if you're maybe playing Horizon Zero Dawn or Grand Theft Auto or a range of any sort of game of that, and there's ways that you specifically change. So if you maybe change some of the settings or the adaptations that you use for playing it, then that's something we'd love to sort of know about. So you can send us an email with that, or even better, write a review about the game, and send it to us via an email, and we will sort of give you full credit and publish it on our website. We'd also like to do with the visually impaired gaming stream that we're doing is to, if there's any games that you'd like us to go over, then if you can just send us an email with the game of that, we will quite happily spend a few hours looking into the game, seeing how we can sort of what we can do to make it that a little bit more accessible. And then we'll post that onto one of our visually impaired gaming streams. So our visually impaired gaming streams are on every Wednesday night from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And generally it's just myself on it. And we'll just talk about accessibility and how I sort of play games as a visually impaired gamer. And the reason that I do this is to try and give other people out there a little bit of sort of hope, and more to the point, make them realise that just because you have visual impairment doesn't mean you can't enjoy the world of sort of. I think somebody's up there maybe. You can't sort of enjoy the world of computer games. So I'm going to go quiet for a moment because I need to be quiet if I'm sneaking up on people, otherwise they'll hear me. And if you believe that, you'll believe anything. So why have they built a wall here but not emptied the chest? That's a wee bit weird if you ask me. Okay, let's go and see what sort of trouble we can get in now. A bit disappointed I've not came across anyone yet, but game's still young. Ah, footsteps. Good night. I really don't know why I keep saying that, but you know what? That's what I'm going to do today. So yeah, so if there's anything you'd like us to sort of go over in the visual impaired game stream, then just send us an email at tripletaptech@outlook.com, or you can also do that through our website at tripletaptech.org. Okay, so we've got a wee bit of distance to travel here. Okay, so I think this bit's going to be a nice wee easy one to do now. So yeah, so this week, or sorry, last week even, Apple, well, maybe a few weeks ago now, we sort of up their new range of sort of equipment and that. So you had the new iPad Pro with the M1 processor, the new Apple TV, and a purple iPhone for some reason, and also the AirTags. So I'm going to take a bit of time now, sort of during the game stream, just to sort of discuss my sort of views and that on the devices and that. The only one that I've sort of been able to get my hands on at the moment is the Apple AirTags, and I have to say I'm sort of thoroughly impressed by them. As they are sort of very easy to set up. Basically, all you need to do is rip the paper off the outside of them. That removes the wee tag that stands between the connection of the battery, and hold the side of your phone. Follow a few simple on-screen instructions, and bang, that's it. They're ready to go. Right there, yeah, I think especially with the accessibility options that are built into them, which for sort of tracking device you think would be sort of pretty limited, but having sort of the, I heard somebody there. Definitely hear somebody about there. So we start to sort of really concentrate again. So I always folk up that way. I will just head up to the top of this ice mountain and we can sort of reassess the situation from there. If anybody's following us. Don't think so. Yeah, so that player tag. So it's in there's the setup and that on them's all pretty sort of good. It's pretty simple. It's not any major sort of hassle that are involved on them, and the actual sort of accessibility and usage of them sort of is top notch as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, you can use the app where it will sort of guide you in the right direction to where their tags are. If you're using iPhone 11, it'll sort of appear on screen and tell you the exact on screen and tell you the exact distance that they are from the device, even what direction they are from the device. When you're out and about, but that's where things get a little bit more sort of complicated. So the AirTags are designed to be put into devices that, or not devices, sorry, into sort of items and that you might sort of lose when you're sort of out and about. So a prime example of that would be sort of my tech bag, so the bag that I carry about, that's got all sorts of technology in it. So, for instance, if I was sort of about with a tech bag and I was maybe to leave it in the office, or even worse, leave it on a bus or a train, and then start to panic about where it was. What I can now do is I can use I've just put an AirTag into the tech bag, and I just set the AirTag up, leave it there, forget all about it, and if anything was to happen to that bag, I can go onto the phone, put the AirTag into lost mode through using the Find My app, and then that would be able to tell me where the bag is. So it doesn't need to be a bag. You can fix the AirTags to many things. You can fix them to sort of your keys, to bags, property that you might be carrying about with you. However, one of the sort of the main concerns with AirTag, the sort of main concern with all things Apple is the privacy issue with them. So obviously, if you've got AirTags and you can access that location of where that AirTag is any time, it means you could potentially use them for somebody about it. Yep. You could potentially use them to sort of keep track of sort of people and that. So what Apple's done to sort of combat this is if your iPhone notices sort of an AirTag that's not affiliated to your account, and it's out with the other person's sort of account for a period of time. So say for instance, it might be a few hours. I can definitely hear somebody there, but Yep, so it's I'll start again there, so it might be sort of a few hours and that. Then a warning will sort of appear on your screen to let you know that there's an air tag sort of nearby. I think this is sort of handy as well because that means that when you're out and about, and if you were to sort of lose, say you were to lose your keys when you're out shopping or something like that, then somebody around you with sort of, what do you say? It's constant now. I'm probably going to end up dying here, but you know. Where did they go? Close by anyway, by the sounds of it. I'm going to try and keep the high ground here. Oh, that's no good, I'm in the storm. Ah, this isn't good. Ah well. Third that time. Not quite as good as first, but... So yeah, with the air tags. So if you're sort of with your keys not about anywhere, it's got the potential to show up on somebody else's phone that, or sort of find my device that it's a lost device that's nearby, so they can find that. And you can also choose to have sort of your name or a contact number. So when they scan up with their phone, they can then get in contact with you in order to return the sort of missing item. So it's, they're sort of really a good device. The thing that I was sort of quite impressed with them from Apple as well was the fact that that they include a sort of button cell battery. So it's a CM232, I think it is. I always get the numbers mixed up. But basically it's a sort of like a standard battery. It's in a lot of devices. You can pick them up off Amazon for, I think, a pack of 4 or 5 for £96. And the battery in the device lasts probably about a year to a year and a half, depending on the sort of usage and that. So that's sort of really new, one of the brand new devices from Apple, and to think it's sort of really good. A good device. I'm thoroughly enjoying the ones that I've got. The AirTags themselves cost £29 to buy individually, or you can buy a pack of 4 for £99. Okay, so we went to different destination dates. See what we can do at this bit. Cool. So the next sort of thing that the Apple released that I thought was sort of worth noting was the upgrade to the iPad Pro that was out. So the iPad Pro, we've got a few in the office. We've got the original iPad Pro that came out, I think, way back in 2017 or 18. I think that was the first one that came out. I got that when it first came out. We've also got the iPad Pro, the 2019 model on that, and by no means are these two tablets sort of score on their own. Even going back to the sort of the original iPad Pro, well, it's still very fast. However, Apple sort of took the decision to upgrade the new iPad Pro with the M1 processor, or the M1 chip that they are using now. So they sort of moved away from the A series that's been sort of in all iPads and that. The last one I think was the 13. That was sort of rumours were going about that in the new iPad Pros they were going to put a 13X, so sort of slightly modified and improved one in that. But they've also sort of rethought that and have just stuck the M1 on it, which is it's really it's sort of difficult to explain. But the power that's on the M1 chip is just really phenomenal. Um, they recently introduced it last year in their sort of desktop and their laptop computers, MacBooks and MacBook Airs, and also sort of the iMacs. In fact, I don't think it was in the last iMac, but anyway, they've they've put that onto the new iPad, so that's going to open up a whole sort of world of sort of possibilities, especially when it comes to apps and that can help with sort of many different sort of disabilities and that, not just sort of visual impairment. But the one thing that I think the one chip will really improve. I'm just trying to make up mind there whether or not I need that gun or not, but we won't need it now. Right. The one of the things. Right, where are they coming from? There we go. That was a nice wee sneaky attack. Okay, but that still doesn't answer the question of where was he firing it. Him, and I think there's another person up here. So maybe firing arrows there, hopefully. Ah, damn. Gave away my position. Or not, I say running. So hopefully there's not anyone else kicking about. Yeah, so I think, especially with the M1 chip that's in the new iPad, it's going to open up a whole new sort of world of possibilities, especially when it comes to apps and software that's designed for sort of visual parents and that on it. With the iPad Pro, it's also got the LiDAR sensor built into it, which is great for sort of identifying sort of objects, tell you the distance and that they are away from. Oh, that sounds like a big bang. The distance that they are away from the device. So hopefully, with having sort of the extra power, so basically the iPad Pro has got a sort of mid to top of the range. Come on, why don't you die? Yeah, so the iPad having sort of a mid to sort of high range desktop chip in it, then I can sort of see apps coming on sort of leaps and bounds over the next few years, especially when it comes to sort of machine learning and artificial intelligence and stuff like that. I think we're going to see quite a lot of sort of improvement in apps. So maybe apps such as sort of seeing AI and I'm trying to think of some other apps that we use. Not there. So definitely, so seeing AI, Soundscape could sort of potentially use it, and sort of object identifying one too. So maybe like seeing AI and vision AI. What's going on up here? What I'm also sort of hoping to see, especially since Apple sort of introduced the M1 chip, seeing that maybe in a few years' time filtering down to sort of the other devices. So such as maybe it filtering down to the iPad Air and eventually the sort of the standard iPad on it. Somebody there. Right, let's see where this wee guy's went to. Good night. Don't know about that one. That was somebody that will let him come closer to us. And then the last thing they sort of introduced at the Apple event was the new iMac 24-inch one there with sort of redesigned and thin, sort of really thin bezel on it there. So I think I've sort of ordered the iPad Pro and the new M1 Mac. But I think one of the things that we're going to find sort of moving forward in time, especially with between the iPad Pro and the Max, sort of the I'll start them sort of starting. I'm just trying to see if there's anyone sort of around down here. I'm not too sure if that's somebody up there. Get a couple of shots and see if they come to us. Whoa. Okay, that was cool. So I think we're going to see sort of a lot of the apps and that you can use on, or sort of the software that's available on the MacBook sort of being ported over to sort of the iPad Pro and the M1 range of sort of the iPads and that. I also think you're going to, oh, they can do that now. So a lot of the apps and that are available on the M1 Macs are also sorry, available on the iPad Pros are also available on the M1 Macs now. So no, it's good. You can get to choose what's going to be sort of the right software, the right program for you. You could go for sort of the full fat Mac version of it, or you could go for the skinny diet version of an app that you're using on sort of the iPad. Just trying to work out where this wee guy went. I don't really know. I don't want to hang about here too much. That's why I wasn't want to hang about here too much. Not really in the position now to take on just a bot. But again, I think sort of the two devices that become more and more intertwined, it's going to mean... What the hell's chasing me? It's going to sort of give us visually impaired people a lot more choice on sort of the type of app they use and the way in which they can sort of interact with these apps. And another one gone. Right, would you go away now? Just trying to do a wee bit of diversion tactic there. Don't know if it'll work or not, but we'll find out. I honestly thought that was a person for a minute there. That wasn't good. Just got a snipe there. No. So that's already into sort of an hour of the gaming stream so far. Anyone that's sort of just joined in, I'm Boy Ninja 1704, otherwise known as Fraser. I'm the chairman of a charity called Triple Tap Tech, and we provide advice, help, support, and training to anyone with a visual impairment and accessing all forms of technology. We're based in Glasgow, Scotland, but we can cover sort of the whole of the UK when it comes to offering sort of advice and support. But for the Scottish region, we are looking at getting back to offering sort of a home visit, and you're more than welcome to come and visit us in our office in Bath Street in Glasgow. So yeah, so we provide advice, help, support and training in all forms of technology you can come in contact to from visually impaired. So whether that's using a device to listen to an audiobook, all the way through to the latest smartphones, tablets, computers, MacBooks, etc. You name it, we can sort of provide support on it. We also provide training and advice on devices that are specifically designed for people with a visual impairment. So that can be like there's a whole range of sort of smartphones out there that be designed for visual impaired use. There is sort of braille displays that can be used with digital devices, and a whole host of sort of other software. We've designed our website at tripletaptech.org, and there we've got a great resource, a lot of sort of how-to guides on different accessibility built into Android, built into Apple devices, built into a lot of sort of other devices too. And we've got sort of product reviews and that on there. As we're sort of a small independent charity, all the reviews that we do are our own. We don't get sort of paid by Apple, Sony, etc. to give out all shine and all sort of these are the best devices ever reviews. We actually put our what we feel about devices on to sort of our reviews on it. As part of the website, we've also got our accessible gaming area there, which is specifically designed for visually impaired gamers. So that's gamers with low vision and with no vision. And there you can get accessibility guides. It's built about what each sort of different device can do. So what your PlayStation it might be able to do, what your Xbox, your shiny new Xbox Series X can do, what you can do on PCs and Nintendo Switch. So we've got basically all the major devices there, and we've also got sort of accessibility guides for VR gaming too. So devices such as the Oculus Quest and the PlayStation VR. So the website's sort of a great resource that you can it's free to access, so you may as well make the most of it, and you can get all the information and that you need from there. Our tech experts too, we're also just at the end of a call or an email, so please feel free to sort of contact us through the details that are available on the website, and there we'll gradually sort of help you out as we can. Somebody there. Go away, piggy. We also have got a few sort of media channels. Yeah, you level up. that you can access to. So obviously if you're watching this live tonight, this Wednesday sort of evening, you're watching this on Twitch. So if you could sort of go like, subscribe, share, follow, you know, that usual jazz. If you can do that with Twitch, that would help us to sort of get the information that out there and try and reach as many people as possible to make them aware that just because you're visually impaired, it doesn't mean that you can't sort of enjoy the world of video gaming. You might need to play games and that in a slightly different way, but there's still a possibility to play the games. We also have our YouTube channel, so if you pop over, got a head flying there, to where's that coming from? Aha! That's just... Yeah, you better run. But you know, I'm going to chase him down. Just bear with me while we sort of concentrate here. Yep, don't try and shoot me from a distance. I will find you. Cool. But what was I saying there? Yeah, so if you can sort of also we've got a YouTube channel what we publish our sort of our visual impaired gaming streams on, and if you could sort of pop over there and do the same, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz, then again it just helps us get sort of the information out there to try and sort of reach out and support as many folk as we can. Okay, somebody's firing arrows at me. Ah, damn it, 35 that time. So if there's any sort of content that you like us to go over in sort of the visual impaired gaming streams, then just let us know. Send us an email through our website. It could be sort of focusing on a specific genre of games, so such as horror games, first-person shooters, battle royales, etc. Even racing games, fighting games. I've got quite a few of them. I'm totally rubbish at them, but I've got a few of them. And we can sort of spend the Wednesday evening going through a few of the sort of their games. Or if you want us to sort of focus on a specific game, so such as maybe focusing on, well, tonight we're just playing Fortnite, just because it's just really playing in the background and me talking nonsense tonight. But yeah, if there's sort of a game you'd like us to sort of focus on, especially when it comes to accessibility and how to adapt it, to try and make it a wee bit more easier and comfortable to play from with having a visual impairment, again, just let us know in the email and we'll certainly sort of look into, see if we can provide that sort of content for you. Again, any sort of content that you'd like us to provide, just let us know, and we're always happy to sort of look at ways in which we can provide that content. So all the contact information for Triple Tap Tech can be found at our website at tripletaptech.org. So go and check it out. I've already sort of said a few times sort of tonight how it's a sort of a great, fantastic, wonderful resource. One of the things that we'd sort of quite like to do, we know pretty well what we're doing when it comes to sort of playing games and that, but one of the things we'd quite like to do is to try and reach out to sort of any sort of game developers that are out there, be it sort of indie game developers, people that's developing games for maybe the iPhone or Android phones or tablets, etc., and sort of talk to them about ways in which they can design the game to be sort of accessible, what sort of options and that they could add to the game in order to make it sort of playable for as many sort of people as possible. Obviously not sort of every game is going to be able to be sort of accessible to one no vision, but quite a lot of games can be, especially with sort of a few relatively simple changes or features that can be added. So if you're a game sort of developer, or you know any game developers out there that are looking to maybe take the games to the next level, reach sort of a wider market, with including sort of people with certain disabilities and that, who might be sort of restricted from playing games at the moment, then if you get in contact with us again, you can contact us through the website at tripletaptech.org, or if you know of any developers of that, feel free to sort of pass our information on, and we'll be glad to have that chat with them. The reason I'm sort of not going in cars now is that I'm not too sure of the copyright restrictions with the music in the card and how that what is and sort of relate to Twitch. Twitch can be a wee bit funny sometimes when it comes to. I wonder if I can get him. Yeah, I'm quite impressed with that shot. Yeah, Twitch can be a wee bit funny when it comes to the copyrighting of sort of materials and that in the game. What it will sort of stream, not stream. The last thing I want to do is to sort of make these the sort of visual impaired gaming stream get a copyright sort of strike through them. Good night. Oh no. Where did that guy come from? Go! Oh, too close. So we started off sort of Victory Royale first game, and we're getting steadily but surely worse as the evening sort of progressing. So the one thing that I've sort of found, especially over the sort of the last year and that, where lockdown that's sort of lockdown stuff came into play, and you're sort of a wee bit more, or sort of a lot more, restricted on the stuff and that we can do. So I think gaming's been, for me personally, it's sort of been a godsend. It's been able to um, do something where I can sort of take my mind off being sort of stuck in the same four walls for days after days. Um, and sort of explore and also just go out there and to sort of relax and sort of de-stress with the types of games that you're playing there. Well, I find this, especially myself, I've had to sort of change the way I run Triple Tap to from working in the office in Glasgow to sort of being sort of delivered through working from home, which at the start was sort of a big challenge in that too. But what I found doing that is there's often not a great distinction between working from home and sort of relaxing at home now. So what it used to be sort of before the lockdown restriction that came about was you used to go into the office, do your work from there, have to sort of be stressed out and all that. Not that I get stressed out much when working for Triple Tap Tech, but when you go home that was sort of your safe zone. So you could just go home, you could forget all about the office, all about sort of working, and just to sort of relax, spend time with family, sort of have friends and that over. But also with the way that sort of COVID has played out over the past year, it's people have been working from home, so their workspace has sort of become their home space, and this can sort of least to sort of higher stress levels and such there. So I find that being able to sort of switch off from sort of everything and sort of, for lack of a better term, burying your head in a computer game for a couple of hours, just forget everything that you've been doing, forget stuff what you need to do, and just concentrate on sort of having fun and a wee bit of sort of escapism. Sort of has done me sort of the world good. I'd probably go mad, to be honest with you, if I sort of wasn't sort of able to at least do a wee bit of sort of gaming and that. I think moving forward, that's one thing that we're going to start to see quite a lot of people in that struggling with. It's just having their sort of work-home life balancing out now. I think sort of technology's going to sort of go a long way to sort of addressing sort of the issues of sort of working from home and that. And I think that with the Okay, that was cool. I think definitely with the how could you not kill me with that gun? With the so they're getting distracted with the sort of COVID restrictions, and that sort of accelerated quite a lot of just noise in there. It sort of accelerated quite a lot of not industries that, but sort of workforce sectors and that, and to being at least a little bit more flexible when it comes to the working arrangements and that, but also just being able to do a lot of sort of the work and that from home, which has its advantages. You don't need to sit in a crowded train for 45 in the morning, 45 minutes at a time travelling to and from your workplace. So you get that sort of time up, but when you're sort of working from home, you've always got the issue there of just doing a wee bit more sort of working to sort of not getting sort of paid for it and that. So I think that's going to be one of the issues and that we sort of need to address as a society moving forward. But back to the initial point there, was sort of being able to sort of just bury your head in a computer game, get away from it all, basically switch off to the world, switch on to the virtual world, and forget all your worries. And that it does have its sort of advantages. Also, just keep the mind active as well. So they always say an active mind is a healthy mind. What's going on there? I can hear shooting that, but I can't. I'm sort of struggling to find out where it's coming from at the moment. You know what? If it's important, they'll come to me. That was a non-playable character there, an NPC. It's usually quite a bad idea to shoot them. Good night. Yeah, just keep sort of an eye out for people in it now. One of the strategies that I tend to use quite a lot, especially when playing Fortnite, because it is quite sort of bright, sort of cartoony colours not on the screen. What I find is a lot easier to sort of see is to adapt playing style for the lighting conditions on it. So when the lighting's quite sort of bright and that, I'll tend to head out into the open areas where it's easier to sort of see any of the sort of the competition that any of the other players that are sort of kicking about. Whereas if it gets darker, then I'll tend to head into an area that's got more cover on it, in order to make it harder for other players to see me, as I'll sort of struggle to see other players. So there's definitely somebody swimming there. He's probably attacked the NPC there, and that's why it's shooting at him. And that's what's given off alerted me to his position. Okay, so we've got a builder. Damn it. Oh, 18, that's better than the last time. just making a bit of noise there. Good night. Good night. You know, sometimes you just need to let them come to you. Who's that now? Let's go through this way. I can definitely have a few folk about here. Let's try and see if we can figure out where the hell they are. Okay. We hope that was the guy who shot me from the other side. Okay, dokie. Right, damn it, going straight in now. If any use have sort of got a Oculus Quest game that I'd sort of thoroughly recommend getting on now is Star Wars Pinball. It's sort of a really, really decent game on it. Again, there's not sort of a lot of great sort of accessibility options built into it. You can sort of change the change cars and that on it, but you definitely need to sort of have a little bit of visual sight in order to play it. But it's just a sort of trip down nostalgia lane on it. There, you've got about 8 different tables. I don't think that's a person there. Yeah, you've got 8 different tables and it all relates to different areas of sort of the Star Wars games. Where is everybody gone? I think this map is empty. That was booked us in. Oh, that was a builder. So my plan here is I'm going to hopefully draw that guy towards me. Just make it a little bit more easier. Fingers crossed anyway if the plan works. No, I didn't see him there. Oh well. I was there. 9th. That's even better than last time. So I think we're sort of down to the last sort of few games for this evening's accessible games stream, or visual impaired games stream. But as I said, we're just at the end of an email or the phone. So if you sort of got any questions about visual impaired gaming, be it low vision or no vision gaming, ways in which games can be adapted and modified, and different sort of peripherals and that you can use in order to make the games more accessible, then just sort of send us an email, give us a call. Our information, our contact details and that can be found on our website at tripletaptech.org. Again, they're just going the route that I know pretty well. I think I always find, especially when starting a new game, it's just that it can take a wee bit of time to get into the way of sort of playing the game and that, and how the game works. But I always say just be patient with any game that you're playing, and give yourself time to sort of settle in and to adjust to the playing of the game. Also, take time and just mess about with the settings on it. So try changing the sort of brightness, if it's got any magnification options, carbine mode and that, and play a bit of all those settings so that you can get it set up where it's just right for you. Great, so it's getting dark as well. I'll struggle to see in the game. Okay, couldn't have done that if I tried. Let's try another one. I think that in all honesty, this will probably be the last game of tonight, so we'll see if we can sort of make it count. Don't forget, we've got to hear sort of your opinions on that in games and how you've sort of made games and that accessible. If you send us an email through our website, and what we'd love you to do, if you if you feel confident enough to that is to sort of write us reviews and that about games that you're playing. And if you send them to us through our website at tripletaptech.org, we will happily publish them on our website. We've already got quite a few sort of game reviews live on our website. For sort of consoles, we've got The Last of Us Part 2 and Fortnite. For sort of audio games, available on iOS, I think on Android and Steam as well. We've got Blind Driver, or Blind Drive. I think it's Blind Drive. It's called. And we're sort of be publishing some more for the sort of the Quest and PlayStation VR and such. But then we'd love to sort of publish any reviews of that the visually impaired gaming community out there would like to do for us. Unfortunately, we can't sort of pay for the views of that, but we will give you sort of full credits. And if there's any content you'd like us to add to our media channels such as Twitch or YouTube, or create any content for our accessible gaming website, then just let us know and we'll be happy to look into doing that for you. And don't forget the Triple Tap Tips website, tripletaptech.org, is a great resource when it comes to technology, when it comes to all technology and visual impairment. We've got a lot of different sort of technology reviews, guides, stuff on there. So please feel free to check that out too. And one last thing I'd sort of ask everyone to do is sort of watching this and sort of find it interesting, useful, etc. So if you could just like, and if you could just sort of spread the word about Triple Tap Tech to all your friends, family, college, people who have helped sort of support your other charities that you might be involved with. Okay, we'll do one more game. That was rubbish. But yeah, if you could sort of let everyone that you know get to know about us. Again, it helps us sort of provide our service and helps people make use of the services that we provide, and sort of get all this great information out there too. So last sort of match of this evening. So let's see if we can do better than 75 the last one. Hopefully we can. So yeah, just starting off getting all the weapons that I can, trying to get sort of weapons that I know that I can use pretty well. And now we've got the weapons, so let's see what trouble we can get into. One final time. Definitely heard shooting coming from somewhere. Okay, it's all silent now. Could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Not interesting, you little piggy. Once again, it's Earless Silent. Oh, something's shooting at me there. I'm going to let them come to me because the NPC's over there and don't really want to get involved in a firefight. I can't win. Let's try and be sneaky. Let's see what we can do here for sneaky. Ah, that's what I was wanting. Hello. That worked. Just get the health back up here. So that NPC must have took out the other character that was up there, I think. So I think I'm just going to do, this is the last game of the night, I'm just going to do sort of a lazy game and let the opponents come to me. See if it works out that way or not. Oh, that's not fair. Okay, I wasn't expecting to get attacked by a bill there, but maybe a bill, maybe a pig or something. Not quite sure, but let's get attacked with something there anyway. Ah, damn it. Ah, well. You win some, lose some. But that's us for tonight's visually impaired gaming stream. Join me back next Wednesday from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We will be doing it all over again. We'll have some sort of new information about new technology and that coming out. We'll sort of talk about sort of different games. We'll be playing different games. And if there's any games that you'd like us to focus on for the visually impaired gaming stream, then just let us know by sending us an email to tripletaptech@outlook.com, or you can find all our contact information on our website. I'm Blind Ninja 1704, otherwise known as Fraser. It's been a pleasure chatting to you all tonight. Take care. Cheery bye.